Okay, so whenever you pick up a new round or whatever, it'll just automatically go to the last charge.
All right, so everyone go ahead and grab a illumination.
Illumination?
Illumination.
And Dean, what the fuck? Might be an issue in the fucking game.
So illumination has the red marker at the top to indicate that it's a loom. Right, so this projectile has obviously it's a larger projectile. For smoke and a loom, you need to change the minimum charge is charge 1 most missions. So you can't do charge 0. So minimum charge is charge 1. Now to change the fuse, it's the same process. You inspect the round. You look at this fuse setting and can change the time. Automatic is default. So basically take the parabola that the order is set to, and then obviously to go off and look like that. Other than that, you basically can set the manual fuse to a different like time setting. So everyone go ahead and set your fuse to 13.0.
Real quick, who's here for the infantry stuff?
I am.
Ready to go.
Komodo, you here for the infantry or the mortars?
Both if possible.
Dark side, is that
Teach him
possible?
later on. Teach him later on. You can go do infantry stuff. That's obviously what you're signed up for, so that's more important. And I can run you through stuff later on.
Alright, cool. So I'll
Want to take away?
Yeah, I'll teleport us all the way.
I'm here for the helicopter.
Oh, you want the fuse?
I think that might just be rescheduled, but are you flying for the event?
For the Arn Fauna, right?
For the one tomorrow?
I'm not sure if I even got in. I'm like 64th player signed up.
Oh, you'll probably get in.
Signed up today.
Yeah, you'll get on the server. I don't know if you'll get the
Signed
slot.
up like yesterday or 2 days ago.
There's open slots.
Yeah, you'll probably be a rifleman or something.
I'm totally fine with being a rifleman.
Alright, dark side, you wanted fuse?
Yeah, hold on, stand by. Hold on.
Let me check the website real quick.
Put me in the meat grinder. Wait, we have to sign up through the website?
Where is Wade?
I don't know, is he doing mortars or is he doing infantry?
He's doing mortars, but he's conflict vanilla or something. Try to sound by. Give me a
What a nerd. Tell him to get his ass on. Just for...
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. We could do that. Again?
Aim across on the top of the hill, for example.
I was wondering what that was. I thought that, like, so you can spawn the crosses? I did an actual cross up there. That'd be a good target.
Yeah, it's a... Where the fuck are we right now? Just continue with your course still. I'm brand new 1.3 more.
Oh yeah, so you got the fuse setting, right? You good for the fuse? One thing I would say is...
Fuse is automatic, charge 1.
So we'll say loom, charge 2, fuse 1.5.
11.5.
If that's ordered, then set it to 1.5. Charge 2, and then put it back in your backpack, I believe.
Okay, hold on, my inventory.
From it, yeah. I would say drop your rifle, but last time I played mortar mission, I ran in mortars and I dropped my rifle. An aggressive cleanup script literally ate all my stuff. So obviously for this, I'm not going to order people to do that.
How do I holster my rifle so it's not constantly out? Like, how do I...
Tab Z. Quickly,
Okay, so I have the Illumiron and the second Illumiron, so both of them should have the same charge and fuse.
Yeah, so if you drop intent here is just hand bomb 5 rounds, whatever the method is. So that's basically, so grab a projectile, grab an HE or something. Teach you the basic mechanics of it. Basically where you want to stand when you have the projectile in your hand. Basically on the right side of the tube here. The guy in the site will be on the left side. Or dropping bombs is on the right side.
So the assistant can load, right? No.
So there's a guy in the site and there's a guy that drops the bombs, right? So basically, where I'm standing, that's where you want to stand, and then you'll get an action on the muzzle to fire with the round. So I'll just go ahead and fire. Right, so that's basically, and I have another one in my hands. You see, it's the same information. It'll draw from the container. And look, it switches HE, so you want to make sure you don't
So it's not
zombie
like Arma
brain
3.
it.
It's not like Arma 3 where it's like a preloaded round. Can you preload a round for snapshot? Or
No, you can't.
So it has to be dropped in right.
That is a firing pin.
Right.
Right.
So if it's one manning the mortar, then you aim it. Then
You have to get out. You literally have to get out. Yeah. It's not like Arma 3. It's not a 3CB 60 mil. It's actually like that's done with 2. So when you're, I'll demonstrate this right now. It's a good. So go ahead and pick a direction and elevation if you're choosing, and when I fire and when I drop a bomb, you're gonna see it's gonna change. So you have to relay the tube essentially after every
so
shot.
Recoil. Okay.
Yeah, recoil. Obviously, it's bedding in the base plate into the ground. It's in the recoil. So I'm gonna go ahead and fire now. Watch how it deviates. This is charge 1. Right. So this is why I tell people.
It only deviated a few mils, but yeah, that can make a difference.
Yeah, but if it's a higher charge, depending on elevation,
I try a max charge one to see how much it changes.
it's gonna change enough where it over 2.5 kilometers away, enough to be off.
Was that max charge? I didn't.
Yeah, that was max charge. Yeah.
Drop another one. I didn't see how much it deviated. It was last.
This is on a loom round. So each round will have different
All right.
deviation.
So yeah, it deviated elevation by 5 mils up.
I mean, it'll get more if you drop more bombs. It gets more aggressive. That's something I noticed. I don't know if they're trying to like simulate the temperature of the barrel or something, or just so like if you drop 5 rounds.
Yeah, it makes sense. So you gotta then you gotta retrain it each time to be as accurate as possible.
So the process is.
But the nice thing about that though is if you're gonna shotgun it or you're doing it does add some natural spread if that's what you're going for.
Well, it already has natural spread, even if you're on the same bearing or direction and distance, right? So you want to maintain it as accurate as possible and let the drift, the actual velocity, carry it. That's the thing. But obviously, if you're doing immediate suppression, one thing I would suggest is put your grenades in the crate, because sometimes you pull a frag grenade, it's kind of goofy.
How do I dismount? What the fuck?
X is an X-ray.
Oh, it's on the bottom. I didn't notice it.
All right, so basically, the next thing on it is this man system on the site.
It's truly crew served. Okay, you still aiming for
so-
stuff. That's annoying.
No, you can use W or ASD. Sorry, A and D, and then up and down arrow. I don't use my mouse at all. That's lame.
Can you do fine adjustment? It seems. I guess.
No, you can gotta light tap it. So the next thing I'll teach you is so pick a direction and elevation right now.
Are we gonna aim for that cross on the hill, maybe? Try that.
We'll do that after. I just want to run you through something real quick, just the actual lighting feature. So pick a direction and elevation. So at the FTC, I'll say, direction 6400, elevation 1200 or 200. Make sure you write that down, because I hate one thing that drives me crazy when I'm running 3 mortars. People interrupting me and asking me to repeat the elevation. It works if it's just 1 tube, but when it's 3 or 4 tubes, it breaks my mojo. You know what I mean? So just write it down so you can actually look at it, because once those rounds start dropping, you're gonna have to relay. So basically, pick something of your choosing right now and just commit that to memory. I'm gonna drop 5 rounds. So every time I drop a round, you relay it and you have to use the command on. So when I say on, that means you lay it on. As soon as you say on, that's a cue for me to fire the next bomb.
Right. Okay.
Right? And then we'll basically have 5 rounds fire for effect. Fire the 5 rounds. I'll say last round, I'll drop it, and the round's complete. So your job is just make sure you're
mouse aiming, because my fucking push to talk is on my mouse, and every time I try to use it, it goes to aim off. So
yeah, you're gonna have to fix that. You're gonna have to fix that. There's no way to. There's no keybind specific to the mortar.
That's fucking annoying. That's why I don't like
so
mouse aiming. Fuck.
I'm not a huge fan naming as well. Are you on a direction and elevation?
Yeah, 6400, 1200 on.
So just maintain that, and then so say on, and then so if at my command is in effect, there's another one. So it'll be like fire mission, HE charge 4, direction 6400, elevation 1200, 5 rounds at my command, fire for effect. Right? If at my command is in effect, then the gunner will prepare 5 rounds. The sight guy will basically stay on, and the gunner will say ready. And let's see that we're the second tube, so it would be like 1 ready, and then number 2 would say 2 ready, and then the FDC will say fire. But we don't fire until in order to fire the first method. And once the first round's shot, then you complete the method of fire. Last round, you would report rounds complete. So it's back
If
up
only
and down
if
communication.
it can actually be handled that way in normal play. We'll see how it goes during gameplay, but yeah.
See how it goes. Yeah, I'm gonna try and enforce it because one thing I hate is when people just randomly fire rounds.
So
As a
if
gunner,
if you're the mortar team leader, yeah, enforce it. Yeah, we'll be.
yeah, I'm gonna enforce it. But what you have to do on the site is just maintain the bearing of fire. That's all I got to do, and then
Yeah, I'm not even pushing the trigger button like in Arma 3, so I'm just getting it.
yeah,
laid
and
out.
then the widget. You should see the widget on the side. Don't worry about that. That's just for like defensive fires.
So,
Okay, so you can-
yeah, so the thing on the right, it just gives you like a ballpark range, like 2,000 meters, 12, 14 mils. Like what is
Yeah.
that?
So what you would do is
Is that
you
the
like
range table?
there's actual range tables. That's like your defensive fires. That's like so you. If I use it for is I put it to charge 0, and then if there's enemies 300 meters away, you just point the tube in the direction of the enemy and then change the elevation for 300 meters. That's the defensive fires. That's how you normally do it.
Okay, so these are just like for snapshot firing if you needed to.
Yeah, it's a widget for offensive views, right, or
And
direct
it'd be
fire.
nice if they had the whole range table up, just like 100, like 200 to 1,000 meters or something. Why is it just like 1,500, 1,700, 1,800? It's like kind of a weird specific mix.
Yeah, and then the actual range tables are by 100 meters. You still have to linear interpolate.
Yeah.
Right. I'll show you those after that's outside the scope. Okay, so you lay it on. So you say on.
Yeah,
I say 2 ready. The FDC says guns fire. So I'll drop a bomb. Once you're laid on, you say on.
On. On. On. Okay.
Last round.
On.
All right, round's complete. So at this point, wait for FDC to get more information. Either order a repeat by saying 5 round fire for effect. We'll say end mission.
Mortar assistants do more than the gunner.
Well, they're both working together. That's the thing. It's
That's
like
not-
you want to make sure
the
you're laid on,
assistant
right?
actually has something to do rather than just being a mule. It's nice.
Yeah, and then so you're preparing the ammunition, but both kind of a middle job because you're just kind of standing here.
So the mortar.
The
gun,
real
like-
meat and potatoes is the FDC. So at this point,
well,
the
I-
round's
I-
complete,
well, I do wanna-
and
That seems pretty straightforward for the aiming.
yeah, the biggest thing is communication. So that's the biggest piece. There is the on ready, and then obviously the gunner. I like to make sure I like to run a tight ship and make gunners not running away because sometimes they run away. They're like fire extra rounds or do all this extra stuff. So realistically, for accuracy, they should not be firing until you say on. Right? It's a crew serve weapon. You're on, and then that was accurate. So if they just start AM bombing rounds, it's going to be more deviation, right? And then increasing errors, because if the FO has an error, and then the FDC has an error, and then the gunner has an error, right? It just compounds, right? So to minimize errors. Try that. You can try dropping bombs now. I'll be on the site unit. From there, you can try hitting the cross. You will grab some rounds, so you know what it's like to fire 5 or 6 rounds. For the event, I don't anticipate more than 5 rounds in one fire for a fact, but we'll obviously do a repeat after. For the event, basically going to be operating charge 2 or charge 3.
Okay, what I do need to learn more about is plotting, because I might have to do that.
Yeah, so
Alright, so give me the charge.
just go charge 2, I'd say. So basically, you'll say fire mission, HE charge 2,
Yeah, charge 2, right?
direction, blah, 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 elevation, blah, blah, blah. 5 rounds at my command, fire for. So I'll basically lay on, let's see. One thing I don't like is that the shack HUD, the fire team HUD, bottoms,
Yeah, it kind of gets in the way.
comes in the way. 6400. So on my command, so 5 rounds, so report ready. I'll say on, and you say ready.
Okay, ready.
On, ready, and then you say number 2, ready, and then PC will say, all right, guns, fire.
All right, you're on. Ready, fire.
Yeah, yeah.
Ready.
All right, stand by. On.
Ready.
On. Just wait for me to say on. Is it flickers? On. 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 So you, as a gunner, you want to keep track of ammunition. So how many rounds was that?
That was 6 rounds.
All right, so the method was 5. I failed that, so you want to make sure you remember the method of fire. And then you say last round, a reminder to yourself and to the gunner. So you say last round, you fire, and then you say rounds complete. That's what the gunner's responsibilities are. There's a bug, as you can see, that sometimes it flickers. That's an Arma-ism. Has to do with this current iteration of the game or the level of the ground. But we're on pretty level ground. Sometimes it flickers. It's like a bug where it like kind of works back and forth. That's kind of weird. You'll notice it at some point. So I'll try and get some target data. We can try and hit the cross, or I can put the cross down. Hold on. See that? I didn't even see that. I can see it. Do you see that syntax? It's a point.
Yeah. That hill.
3 more crosses and a BRDM.
Okay.
I gotta figure out where we're at now. There is daggers in the game. It's level 2. See, one manning, doing all the processes by yourself, it's timing. It's not like Arma 3, you know, more like Arma 2 in terms of the motor system.
Yeah, that's what I'm noticing. They're trying to make it more manual, which I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think Arma 3.
Oh, it's good.
Arma 3 is more.
I mean, it's the way we play, it's good. Obviously, for the wider audience, a console crowd in conflict, you know, cruiser weapon is kind of foreign to most people. Let's see, 0783. One thing I'm gonna do is add the I have the vector and the dagger. I just want them to be able to connect to each other.
I really fucking hate how Arma Reforger just monopolizes your computer. You can't even fucking like.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me, it's easy to learn mortar. It's hard to learn spurs as a platoon. You gotta look at it, each mortar tube as a squad. Okay, so you got 3 squads here, 3 weapon system. It's trying to work one leader. That's what I drove home with people was that point. Is it if you can coordinate and work together, then you can walk the fire and most of friendlies. We can get some information here.
Okay, well you're plotting, but I do want to learn how to plot. So for later missions, comfortably slot mortars.
No, it's a fair point. All right, I have the gun data. On standby.
Should the gunner also for rapid fire, I guess, just for extra inventory. You drop as soon as you sprint. Yeah, you do drop.
Standby. All right, so I have a mission. So it'll be fire mission. HE charge 2. Direction 741. Elevation 1184.
741.
1184. That's to write it down. So I have to read it again.
Yeah, got it.
5 rounds, HE, fire for effect.
On.
My command is not in effect, so fire and ready. Fire.
On.
Of ammunition. Go on.
I was on.
Let's just say rounds complete. All right, watch the target. Time of flight's 2-4. It was
A little short.
little right. So what you can do is go after. Well, I mean, so look, that's on. That's basically on for line. If the 3rd round lands beyond it, that's a target round. So you want to see round land in front and beyond the target. That's how you split the bracket. So it basically gives you mathematical certainty that you're going to hit the target. Right. So one landed short, one landed
that was pretty good.
beyond, and then one landed literally in line.
Yeah, it splashed all around the beach.
At this point, I would say fire for effect. The observer would say fire for effect. So go ahead and look on, and then a lot more bumps here.
Yeah, it's on.
I've got 5 more. When you're ready.
On. 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 On.
Last round. Rounds complete. Rounds complete. Oh, rounds complete. I need to grab more rounds. So I thought the one that was in your hand counted as a round, but apparently it did.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's good plotting. Are you using the dagger like a dagger, or are you using like a range table or something?
I mean, you see it hitting the vehicle, right?
Yeah, it's roughly on. So.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the thing, there's natural dispersion, so rounds are close. The lower the charge, the one thing I was going to say, when you're doing missions, you want to select the lowest charge. It gives you least amount of drift and deviation and lower time of flight. Obviously, everything's high angle. It's a mortar. On a mountainous environment, you want to fire high angle. Yeah, that would be it's a target round. And obviously, if you want to set the rounds a bit, you could do 1 plus or minus mil. The range is 1.2. So you can say 1 mil. Or what is it? 10 mils, 1,000 is going to be 10 meters, if I believe. Deviation by range, whatever. You try putting a smoke out there too. I can give you a target if you want to not plot it. Map tools are kind of annoying. It's honestly best to watch a YouTube video on it and try and replicate it yourself. You try learning. Like you've done it in Arma, right? So or Arma 3. So there should be range tables in.
Like open
Yeah,
range
so
table.
over here, there's range tables in this crate. So everything you need is here. Problem is the protractor, the map tools that we have in game are for infantry, not for artillery. Right, so I'm hoping somebody can actually make an artillery range arm.
So how do I bring up the range table? Just
Get everything else in Arma. You have to like put a quick slot, and you have to drag it. It's kind of convoluted, to be fair. Full system, and it's essentially like you have it is. So we're basically operating a charge 2.
okay, it's the same concept, I guess.
It's literally the same concept as Arma 3 and Arma 2. Something you don't have to worry about is fuses right now. When they actually add proximity fuses,
I guess then I'm good then. Like,
you should practice it at least once. Just gotta develop the muscle memory of actually opening the protractor and tables.
yeah, I actually have to go, so I'm out of time. So okay.
That's fair. If you have to take off, that's cool. But that's pretty much all. I'll just send you the orders format on Discord.
Yeah.
Right. Hold on, I'll send it to you.